Uh, Hi everyone. Hope you're having a good week. This is McNutty here. I just have a couple interesting NBA bets. I just want to touch up on. They are on the Sacramento Kings. I am a Sacramento Kings fan, as I mentioned in my intro, and just a couple interesting bets. I would only recommend putting pizza money on it because I think the Sacramento Kings they don't have high expectations this season. We're probably in the middle of a rebuild, and so I'd be very cautious. Probably just like pizza money, a couple dollars on each of these would be probably recommended. But I think they're interest in value, and there's definitely some discrepancies between other sports books. So and I think they're interesting. So the three bets, they uh, they are the Sacramento Kings to win their division, the Pacific Division, on DraftKings Sportsbook. The odds on that bet is 300 to 1. The Sacramento Kings to make the playoffs, which there's two books with interesting odds. FanDuel Sportsbook, that's the best odds I've found at 27 to 1 for the Sacramento Kings to make the playoffs. And on ScoreBet, the Sacramento Kings to make the playoffs, they are 25 to 1. I mean, you might as well go with FanDuel. I mean, a little bit better odds. And the third bet I'm intrigued on is Doug Christie, the Sacramento Kings head coach, to win Coach of the Year, and that is 100 to 1, and that is on FanDuel and ScoreBet. Doug Christie, Coach of the Year, 100 to 1. I think these are interesting for some pizza money. They're pretty long shot bets. The Sacramento Kings, yeah, we're in the middle of a rebuild. But I'm not. There's a few things I'm not too sure. That I'm confused. I don't know what the Sacramento Kings are doing. I own a Vivek. He's kind of really bold and seems to do what he wants and doesn't really care about public pressure. And especially with the NBA's new tanking rules, anti-tanking rules, where you're very disincentivized. Sorry, I messed that up. Yeah, you're not incentivized to have a bottom three record. If you have a bottom three record, you actually get, I think, one less ping pong ball in the draft lottery under the new NBA tanking rules. And the Kings have some interesting veterans. Like, I'm not saying the Sacramento Kings are contenders to win the NBA championship or even to win the Western Conference. And especially with Vivek being bold, and I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. I've paid attention the past few years, even though it's been some disappointing seasons. As I mentioned in my intro, I did really well in the future sports betting market in 2023 when the Sacramento Kings broke their 16-year playoff drought. The last 3 years I've been burned a little bit, but it's okay. It wasn't big money. The Sacramento Kings, yeah, I think they're interesting. These odds are huge, so I'd recommend just pizza money. And yeah, just a few things. I'm not sure that they're tanking. I mean, there's no incentive to tanking with the new NBA tanking rules. And from what I see and hear, from my observation as a Sacramento Kings fan paying attention the past year and a half, Doug Christie seems very competitive. I actually like Doug Christie as a head coach. I liked Mike Brown too. Um, yeah, I'm not a lot. I feel like a lot of Sacramento Kings fans don't think Doug Christie is the coach of the future. I'm not ready to say he's the coach of the future yet, but I think there's a chance. I mean, he's still pretty young. He was an excellent two-way player, great defenders. I think he seems very competitive. I think he's. I wouldn't be surprised if he's. Yeah, I think he's him and Vivek Spold, the owner. I think they're going to try to win. As I've mentioned before, I think the Eastern Conference in the NBA this season projects to be very deep. I see about 13 teams that should be competitive. In the Western Conference, I think it projects to be very top heavy. So maybe on paper, the two best teams in the NBA and the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. And then third, the team that's probably favored to be in the third pole position, the Denver Nuggets. Some people might argue they're better than any team in the Eastern Conference too. So Western Conference more top heavy. After that third position with the Denver Nuggets, I think the Western Conference is wide open. So I think there's playoffs positions definitely to be determined. Like if we look at the Western Conference, and then the Sacramento Kings division, the Pacific Division, in my opinion, that is very wide open. In the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not crazy about the LaMelo Ball trade, and because I feel like their identity used to be more defense, and now with LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards at two, Ayo DeSumo projected to be at the three, Jalen McDaniels, who's a good defender, but now he's at the four. I feel like Jalen McDaniels is more a three, not a four. I have concerns about the Minnesota Timberwolves team identity, their depth. I'm concerned if the Portland Trailblazers with Ja Morant, Damian Lillard, Scoot Henderson, and Drew Holiday. I feel like one of them there has to be another move there. I'm concerned if they're deaf. In the Sacramento Kings Pacific Division, the Golden State Warriors, if they get LeBron James, they're one of the front runners. They could become very interesting. It seems like the LA Clippers, they're rebuilding. The Los Angeles Lakers, I'm not ready to say they definitely have talent, but I'm not ready to say the LA Lakers are by any chance like a very good team in the Western Conference. They can be, but I'm not confident saying that that's very likely. The Phoenix Suns, I see the Phoenix Suns being around like a 7 to 10 play-in type team. Maybe they could be a 6 seed. They're good. I don't see them being an elite team. And then in the Southwest Division, the Dallas Mavericks, I'm not ready to say they're a bona fide playoff team. The Houston Rockets, I have a lot of concerns with them, even though they do have some talent. The Memphis Grizzlies, I'm actually kind of optimistic on the Memphis Grizzlies. Numbers have moved on crazy for them recently since the odds came out, like over under wins. New Orleans Pelicans, and then as I mentioned, San Antonio Spurs, they should be elite. So I see potentially 5 playoff pole positions open in the Western Conference, 7 in the play-in. So I'm very intrigued. I wouldn't advise much. It's gambling. It's very risky, but 27 to 1, I do not think it's a bad idea to put $10 in FanDuel Sportsbook on the Sacramento Kings to make the playoffs 27 to 1. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. So this morning I put $10 on each of these three bets. So make the playoffs 27 to 1. Pacific Division 300 to 1. I put $10 in that. And I feel like almost the Sacramento Kings almost have to win their division to make the playoffs. LA Clippers rebuilding. Los Angeles Lakers, I don't think they're a very good team. They could be a good team. Phoenix Suns have said I do not think they're a very good team. Good team. Golden State Warriors, if they do not get LeBron James, I do not think they're a very good team. Solid team. I think that there's an opening there. And then if you look at the Sacramento Kings, I think Doug Christie's competitive. He was a very fiery, competitive player. One of the best defensive two guards in the NBA for a few years. Um, and I'm not ready to say it's very likely Domantas Sabonis gets dealt for the Sacramento Kings. And going into NBA draft, when was it? Like maybe about recently, about 2 weeks ago. I wanted the Sacramento Kings to draft Darius Acuff Jr. We got the guy I wanted. We got him. He fell to us at the 7th overall pick. I think he was a top 5 talent in the draft. He's only 19 years old, which is great. He's not someone that like played in prep school for a year or two. He was one and done at Arkansas, 23 and a half points a game, 48.4% from the field, 44% from three as a freshman on 2.5 3-pointers made a game. Excellent efficiency on a lot of volume. 6.4 assists a game, only zero point 0.8 steals and 0.3 blocks a game. So he doesn't project to be a very good defender, but he could be an okay defender. 6'2". He's not the longest, but he's pretty stocky. In a good way, it seems like he's very physical, muscular. I wanted Darius Acuff. I think his game is very mature. I think he can be a very good player from right away. He probably should be one, and he is one of the leading contenders for Rookie of the Year. Zach LaVine picked up his player option, which some Sacramento Kings fans probably aren't happy with because it was $49 million. But Zach LaVine, when his shot's on, he had a bit of an off year last year. The 2 seasons before, shot 44% from three each season both seasons. Yeah, no, last year shot 44% from three on 3.2 makes a game. When he's on, he is incredible 3-point shoot. It's beautiful to watch. It's an expensive player option, but it seems very unlikely the Sacramento Kings would be able to trade him. They would actually probably have to give up something with him to get rid of his contract. They did get DeAndre Hunter back last year from the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder trade. And DeAndre Hunter, he's been around. He's a pretty good defender. He has a lot of experience starting. 271 career starts per game, 14 points a game for his career, 4.1 rebounds, zero point 0.7 steals a game. He was a national champion at Virginia on that Virginia championship team back around 2018, 2019. So the Sacramento Kings, they have some interesting veterans. Keegan Murray, they signed him to a pretty big extension before last season. They still have him. Domantas Sabonis, like I said, we'll see. He could get traded. Even if he does, I like Maxime Reynard, who really came through last year as a rookie center. That was a great find for the Sacramento Kings, second round pick. He had a great his last year at Stanford 2 years ago had a great season too, and very good rookie season. And also, Precious Achua was kind of a nice find, nice pickup last year for Sacramento Kings. He got some run, kind of in a lost season. We still have Malik Monk. Malik Monk is very explosive and can create offense out of nowhere. His strength can also be his weakness because he can be a wild and erratic. I still like Nick Clifford. I think he has defensive upside, and he's a bit on the older side for some going in his second year because he was a 4-year college player, but still think he can contribute. He did a little bit last year. I think he can improve. I really like the Alex Carabin draft pick. Alex Carabin, 4-year contributor at University of Connecticut, key contributor on their 2023 and 2024 championship teams. I like that draft pick. So it seems like the Kings, pick up someone that knows how to win, has been a part of winning. And so there's some depth there. They just re-signed Daquan Plowden, who I think started on a 2-way contract last year. He played well in some runs. I think we just re-signed him. These bets aren't likely, but for the odds, I think it's worth it for just a few dollars. Like I said, I bet $10 each of these. And then if the Sacramento Kings make the playoffs 27-1, it's somewhat likely Doug Christie would win Coach of the Year, and you're getting 100-1, $10-1. And if the Sacramento, I think to make the playoffs, they almost have to win their division. Probably have to either win the division, come second place in the division. So that's why I recommend putting a couple dollars on Sacramento Kings to win the Pacific Division, 300-1. I think that's 300-1 for the Pacific Division is very interesting. The NBA's new, like I mentioned, NBA's new anti-tanking rules. And from my experience, what I see from Doug Christie and the owner Vivek, especially if Domantas Sabonis isn't dealt, starting 5 projects to be Darius Acuff Jr., who I think is, if I think probably Acuff, Debanza, and Cam Boozer. Those guys are probably the 3 most NBA ready elite prospects from this draft. There's other great prospects too, but their games, in my opinion, like Cam Boozer, Acuff, and Debanza, I think they're going to be pretty ready to go. They might not have. Well, Debanza has a pretty high ceiling. I would actually say Acuff and Boozer, probably the most NBA ready, high floor guys from the elite prospects from this year's draft. And the Kings have Acuff, Alex Carabin. If Domantas Sabonis doesn't get traded, then I really am intrigued here because starting 5 at Acuff Jr., Zach LaVine, DeAndre Hunter, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. On the bench, we have Malik Monk, Nick Clifford, Precious Achua, Maxime Reynard, and Alex Carabin. Then we also have Dylan Caldwell, Daquan Plowden. So it's intriguing. Huge odds, just a few dollars. I definitely would only bet these lightly, but I think the odds are too good to not put a few dollars on it. And me as a Kings fan, like I said, I put a few dollars on it just to have some interest. It's intriguing. Yes, it's intriguing, and we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, and I just want to give out these few bets. Oh, the last thing, it just hit me. My fault. There was one other thing. So on these odds, one of the reasons why I'm saying this now, so the Sacramento Kings to win the Pacific Division, it's 300-1 on DraftKings. The best I've seen anywhere else was on ScoreBet, 200-1. Everywhere else I've seen here in Massachusetts, it's 150-1 or less. So you're getting 2 to sometimes 3 times the odds at that 300-1 value for the Sacramento Kings to win the Pacific Division. That's why I'm putting it out now. One thing I'm going to do on this channel is I do not want to force content. There might be a week where I don't put anything out. There might be a week I put like 7 videos out. like this last week. I do not want to force content. If I put something out, even if I struggle, there's I feel a reason in my heart and my intuition why. Um, I actually be traveling a little bit for a few days, so for a little while there might not be much out. But I do not believe in forcing content. I'm putting videos out to put videos out. But yeah, that 300 to 1, the 100 to 1 and 150 to 1 for the division, some places. Um, I haven't seen drastic difference in the playoffs and coach of the year. A lot of sports books don't even have those bets up yet, but I think these are intriguing. And just want to share that with you all. Thank you so much for your time. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And thank you for your time. Have a great rest of Friday and have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye. McNutty.